Hey guys, it's your boy 14 Fluffies here. I've finally moved into my new house. There's still no internet connection here, so this won't be uploaded the night I record it. Currently it is December 16th. It's a little bit past 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But recently I've been thinking about heroes and some of the problems that the deck inherently has. One of the biggest ones being, of course, how you can maintain advantage throughout the course of the game, and more specifically, the grind game of the deck. Typically, pure masked heroes have quite a problem with maintaining a solid grind game outside of constantly topping mass charge. So it had me thinking. So we all know what the standard masked hero engine aspect of the deck is, and let me define engine, because I'm going to be using that term a lot. An engine is something that you use in Yu-Gi-Oh! To progress your game state. It has searchers, so cards that get other cards, and your search targets, which are the cards you search, and then it has your recovery cards, which let you recycle in your engine. So for masked heroes, the obvious searcher is Shadow Mist. In 3 Shadow Mist. Your search targets for typical masked heroes are the 3 Mass Change. I play 2 Form Change. I like having the extra search targets. It helps me. I like the extra advantage, that having these extra search targets adds. And of course, your recovery card is the Mass Charge. Typically, pure masked heroes, of course, play multiple Mass Charge, but I haven't been able to make room for multiple copies of it. But obviously, one Mass Charge has been pretty good for me this entire time. Obviously, to get this masked hero engine started, you have to be special summoning your Shadow Mist through various means. The most commonly utilized ways is through Summoner Monk, Goblinberg, and A Hero Lives. I have a copy of the card, but it's kind of packed up in one of my closets, so I didn't really want to go digging through to find it. And either way, I don't really play it anyway. I don't really like the card personally. I mean, I understand that it's a very necessary card for the deck, but considering I've been playing this deck ever since the structure deck came out. This works without A Hero Lives for me personally, but here's why. Because my build, of course, runs a second engine in the deck for not only masked heroes but for fusion heroes. But before I get onto that, of course, what you obviously summon with this engine is the Darklaws and Anki. I mean, you always want to go for Darklaw. He's the best masked hero, basically. Anki you go for pretty much in niche situations, really. Like, if you're... Like, he's like a pseudo-cowboy. He can also swing over things that Darklaw can't. He gets... Like, in the mirror match, he's how you kill Darklaw. Your opponent's Darklaw. He also gets you pluses, assuming that you don't have a Darklaw on board, yada yada. And also, you make him attack over a monster, you search out Mass Change, you Mass Change him for Darklaw, stuff like that. And etc, etc. But now on to the fusion engine of my build. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Searchers are the 2 Blazeman, and he kind of melts this whole deck together. I mean, he can interact with both engines, both Fusion and Masked Heroes, very well, and I'll explain that after I'm done actually explaining these engines. The search targets, the 2 Poly, you do need to be careful with how you utilize the searches with Blazeman, because you do run out of targets pretty easily, and if you draw any of these, of course, you're going to be shit out of luck. And the recovery cards are the fusion substitutes. This card's awesome. I love this card. Especially since you don't necessarily have to get back Blazeman for fusion recovery. You can get back your other fusion materials. So if you use So basically, any fusion material, any hero, basically. You could even get back BLS with it if you use BLS for like Shining or something, I don't know. But that's just the thought. Yeah, and even Shadow Mist fits into this engine, because if you use Shadow Mist as a fusion material, you know, it's a free fusion material, basically. You can just... Shadow Mist will replace itself when used for a fusion material. And of course, the card that kind of helps sustain this engine if you don't have those mass charge, if you don't have any of the recovery cards right off the bat, is, of course, the Call of the Haunteds. This card, this really helps with getting a Shadow Mist going, especially pretty much just because you have to special summon Shadow Mist. Blazeman you can normal summon and get the engine going just as is. But yeah, this card is what really makes this engine so consistent, and what helps make this deck really consistent, especially considering that the way the two engines work together. Allow me to explain. Basically, Blazeman, even if you aren't going to go for an immediate fusion summon, which I don't really recommend turn 1, because you want to get Darklaw out before anything, even just Blazeman plus Call of the Haunted, you can have Darklaw turn 2, basically. Because, you go Blazeman, activate effect, dump a Shadow Mist to the graveyard, you can search out any other hero you want. Typically I search out another Blazeman, or sometimes Bubbleman. Yeah, it just depends, really. It just depends if I don't want to draw into, you know... It just depends on what I think I may or may not draw into. Or if I already have other recovery cards in hand, like Mass Charge or something, I don't know. So yeah, you do that. You got your Blazeman, you got your Shadow Mist and Graveyard, you got your Call of the Haunted, you will set it, of course, and of course, if Blazeman dies, no one cares. I mean, opponent's end phase, flip over Call of the Haunted, you get your Shadow Mist back, get your Mass Change, you know, engine, and that's it. You got your engine started. And if you did search out your Blazeman, if you did search out your other Blazeman, you could also just normal summon the Blazeman, add the Poly, that engine's also started up too at the same time. I mean, typically you'll also mass change the Shadow Mist for Darklaw or Anki. It just depends. If you want to go for an OTK, you probably should go for Anki. And you'll get it out. Typically, you'll search Neos Alias for the search off Shadow Mist, because I do play BLS and I like to get BLS live as soon as possible. You get your Poly, all that stuff. You make Nova Master. Yeah, because you always want to make any one of these guys with Poly. I mean, typically, these are the two that you always want to make most. I mean, the only times I ever make Shining is when I either already have banished heroes, or if I have a BLS in hand that's live. So I can go Poly, Shining, banish Alias, Shadow Mist, drop BLS, 32 Shining plus BLS equals win, basically. But yeah, other interactions within the engine, let's see. Other interactions. Right off the top of my head, other nifty engines would be like Goblinberg, special summoning Blazeman, search Poly, you can set your Poly. If you have Bubbleman, special it, you can go for an Exceed play. And if you have... Well, yeah, you have your spare Poly, you have your plus, you can go for your Exceed. If you draw any other heroes, you can make that Poly live, you can do fusion plays, you can do all sorts of weird stuff. Like, it's just... You can do a lot of stuff, basically. And you can go plus really easily, especially if you draw into any of these cards. Like, Nova Master is what helps accelerate this engine, basically. Nova Master is just a beast when it comes to that, and that's why Blazeman is so good, because you can go Nova Master, because these two uses fusion materials are... It's pretty much a free fusion summon for Nova Master, and you get free pluses off Nova Master, and if you draw into Mass Charge or Fusion Recovery or any other good cards, like, you just keep going pluses for days, son. And of course that's obvious, and of course you're obviously going to have Darklaw out, so your opponent's going to keep going minus every turn. So yeah, that's kind of a thought. I think that's kind of how... That's the best way heroes should go plus, really. The two engines are very, very stable, and are very, very consistent. Blazeman, of course, does run out of targets easily, but that's just a fact. I mean, even if you do dead draw polys, like, who knows? Like, you could maybe discard them for Summoner Monk. That's another interaction, but yeah, I forgot to mention that too, my bad. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. It's probably not going to be that good, because I'm tired as shit right now. I'm really just out of it, but, things will get better. Like, you should see, like, behind my computer, this house is a freaking mess. Like, it's gonna be a long time before this feels like home, but it is what it is. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to make videos again, even though I can't upload them immediately. But, oh well, everything's good for me, so, I'll see you all in the next video.